Hello, welcome back to St Mirren Shiny. I'm James, this is Gaz, and that's Daz.
Right, so this week we're going to discuss if Mourinho and Pep Guardiola swap jobs, how do you reckon they'd get on?
Personally, I think if Guardiola had a good few months with this Man United squad, so maybe he'd had like a season before, or a good pre-season, maybe a bit.
Maybe
of
if he took over now, so we had the rest of this season.
Yeah, so
and
the rest of
next season,
and then the squad stayed the same. I really think that he'd have a good shot of winning the title with Man United.
I don't think United's team's good enough all round. I think it's got some brilliant. Maybe it's because it's Mourinho. Yeah, it's got some brilliant players, but I don't think on the whole it's a good enough squad.
But if you're going through, so start at the back, they've got, I'd say, the world's best goalie.
Yeah.
If not, then certainly up there.
Yeah.
I think he's the world's best goalie.
Yeah, definitely.
Whether he's the sweeper keeper that Pep would want, it's maybe slightly different, but I think he's good enough with his feet that he would be able to adapt to that.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd want to jettison him like the same way that he did with Joe Hart.
Yeah.
You'd go right back. I think Valencia.
He's getting on a bit.
He is getting on a bit. He has been one of the best right backs actually.
Consistent, he's been steady
over the
last.
Yeah, but they've got Diego Dalot as a really, really highly rated young right back. He improves young players so much. Within a few months, he could be one of the best right backs.
Yeah,
to say that.
At the back, though, Smalling, Jones, they're a bit.
They're not great, but they have both won the title.
What about Bailly?
Eric Bailly and Lindelof look a bit of a mess at the moment, but so did Otamendi when Pep took over. He was a bit of a laughing stock.
Yeah, he was.
He would probably improve them no end.
It's a confidence thing, I think, with
especially with players,
Lindelof.
especially like people like Luke Shaw.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He slags him off. Like if something goes wrong, it's Luke Shaw's fault.
He subbed off, didn't he, recently? After about sort of 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's just destroying players' confidence week in, week out. Like Man City just had the best season anyone's ever had in the Premier League with Fabian Delph playing left back for most. Imagine what he could do with Luke Shaw.
True. Yeah.
This is how much he can increase players' confidence and ability. He just seems to make such a big difference. Matic has won the league 2-3 times.
Yeah.
I know he's getting on a bit, but he's still younger than Fernandinho.
Yeah.
Pep wanted Fred. Fred's completely out of the picture now. He's forgotten about, but Pep obviously rates him. He obviously believed he could make him into a really good player.
Yeah.
Pogba is, I think, an absolutely brilliant player. I think he would just be.
He definitely seems a bit disillusioned at United, doesn't he, Pogba?
Most of the players do, to be honest with you, Man United. The amount of times Mourinho comes out in the press and just destroys his team in a way that it's just too personal, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think personally, Mourinho's kind of lost. He seems like a footballing dinosaur now. Mourinho does. When he first came to the Premier League, he kind of, I won't say revolutionised football, but he did something. Yeah, he did something that the Premier League hadn't seen, and that's why he kind of won his titles.
Yeah.
Now he's kind of stuck in that. Like Wenger, when he first came, absolutely brilliant. Towards the end, football had moved on much.
It does move on quickly, doesn't it? I think there still would be a place for Mourinho somewhere. I just don't think it's at Man United. I don't think he suits a big club with superstar players. I think he's better. Like I said to you before, if somebody like a Newcastle or somebody like a sleeping giant suddenly came into a massive takeover, had like multi millions, I think Mourinho would be quite good for that. For like a rebuilding team, there wouldn't be so much pressure on him. He could.
Yeah. I mean, how much of it is Mourinho's fault, and how much of it is like upstairs at United though? Like,
I think there's a structural problem at the club. I don't think it's all Mourinho. I think after Ferguson's left, I think the appointments have been dodgy. I think the recruitment of players has been a bit all over the place. It just seems like a scattergun approach. They've signed some good players, but they've also signed some dodgy players, and they don't seem to know really what they're doing. They bought Sanchez without a real major plan for him, made him the most highly paid player in the Premier League, just out of pure panic, really.
He played recently as well.
I know.
I saw that stat last night that Man United have made the second most amount of changes to a starting 11 behind Fulham. And you think to yourself, to do well in the league, you've got to have some kind of consistency in your starting 11.
Well, he did that at Chelsea, didn't he? He always knew who his back four was going to be. He always knew he had somebody in front of the back four. Lampard was always going to play. Drogba kind of play well, even though he was injured quite a lot, Drogba, wasn't he?
But you could name the spine of the team, couldn't you? That's the thing, you could name the spine of the team. I think it's different, like rotation and tinkering a bit is fine, but it feels like he's just scrambling around.
Well, no, can you not
desperately for
now
his best
name
team.
the spine of United's team now, though? De Gea,
The centre backs you can't because he changes them all the time.
but then Pogba, Lukaku.
Yeah, and probably Matic.
Let's not forget,
But
he
even
played
Pogba comes in and out. That's the thing.
He played
like,
a game,
Lukaku's been
didn't
dropped
he,
recently.
with McTominay at the back, didn't he? And
He
he
took-
had like
yeah.
Lindelof on the bench, and he
Yeah.
took Bailly off, didn't he?
And
And
dropped-
moved him back to that. And you
That-
think to yourself, how disheartening must that be for?
I know, it seems
Yeah.
like that's kind of making a statement to like the board, though, so I need a player in this position, or
Yeah, but he
I'm
bought
going to.
those players. Let's not
Spend
forget,
so
he
much
bought
money.
Bailly and Lindelof.
Yeah.
It's just come out today that they've got the highest wage bill in the Premier League as
crazy.
well, above Man City.
Yeah.
It's just not good enough, and this is what I mean. It's like going through what he'd be able to do with Pogba. Then up the top as well, he's getting nothing from the forward line.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Martial.
Martial.
Well, yeah, you rate really rate
Martial.
Martial.
Martial,
Martial
yeah.
is absolutely brilliant. His
one of the
ceiling
best
is
finishers.
he could be a Ballon d'Or winner at some point. I
Yeah.
think he's that good. He might
Yeah.
not kick on, but I think that's his potential.
What
He's
about
got
Rashford?
Sanchez. He's got Rashford, he's got Mata, he's
They
got
let
Lukaku.
Depay go as well, and he's like having a season to remember, isn't he? At the
Yeah,
minute? Like,
I think Juan Mata would be at least as good as like Bernardo Silva is now for Man City. I think you kind of forget just how good he was at Chelsea. Juan Mata, when was it 2 or 3 seasons in a row he got their Player of the Year.
It's like the irony though, like Mourinho got rid of him at Chelsea, and now ended up with him again. Like, no,
Yeah, it must be disheartening for him
Yeah.
as a player.
Yeah, I think it just feels like United are so far behind City at the moment. But I think City's squad is better. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I feel like Pep makes such a difference, and Mourinho seems to be, like we said, he just seems to be hampering all of the players. He's
So
just
if you
sucking the confidence out.
Put Mourinho then in City's team. Dave, obviously, we've just said he's got a better squad.
Yeah.
Do you reckon his style of play would suit the players they've
I
got?
think they'd hate it. I think they just don't. Like, you can tell Pogba isn't enjoying his football. Most of the United players aren't enjoying their football, and Man City players are just playing the football of their lives.
Yeah.
Even Fabio Delph's looking really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's how he's been looking quite good for England as well.
He's turned around a lot of players. Like
difference.
Sterling's an example, isn't it? Where before he came into them,
He
he looked like a kind of a bit, almost like a journeyman.
Well, a lot of people have written him off. There was the
Yeah.
petition at the World Cup to send Sterling home, like the nation. I mean, I still think the nation have got a bit of an issue with him. That might be a separate issue, but he's improved him no end. I mean, his goals and assists per game is just insane. It's just gone through the roof. Hasn't
Yeah, it
it?
has, yeah.
And that's what I mean. I just don't think it'd take too long for Mourinho to slowly bring City down and for Pep to increase the confidence of the Man United players until, like, I think this season, if they had swapped jobs a few months before they had a good pre-season, I think Man United would finish higher than Man City. I think still Liverpool could win the league, maybe. They might not win the league, but I certainly think they'd push them close under Pep, and I think they'd finish above Man City.
Yeah, I think Mourinho, for me, I want to say it's a bit sad. I don't think it is sad. I think it's weird to see a man crumbling, but in such a public way.
Yeah.
It's the way that he comes out in the interviews these days, and he mentions a lot that it's Champions League wins, and he almost seems his default setting now is to be angry in interviews. He starts interviews angry, and then he gets annoyed at journalists.
Yeah.
But, Guardiola, he goes into his interviews, and there's times where he does lose his temper a little bit, but he's got that cool, calm persona, and I think that just shows in his team selections, the way that his teams play. There's a big difference between the two of them, definitely.
Yeah. Guardiola did get quite tetchy in his first season because he was being questioned a lot, wasn't
But because
he? His methods were, and he was getting quite tetchy, but you could tell it's because the team weren't performing as
And
they
he'd come
wanted
from
to.
such a team such as like Barcelona, who literally one
And
of the
Munich.
one of the greatest club sides we've ever seen. Like,
Yeah, probably the best I've seen, I would say.
That Barca team, and then obviously Bayern Munich. To be fair, I could manage Bayern Munich and win the league. I think half of their league's a bit bullshit, isn't it? Like,
Although it's changing now.
well, it's changing now, but at the time,
I think he was under pressure a lot when he first came in. Obviously, dropping Joe Hart and bringing in Bravo, and that didn't work out. And he was shipping the goals, and people were really quick to go, "Oh yeah, the style's not working for him, trying to play from the back." And he's proven, obviously, everyone completely wrong by scoring the most goals, the most points. He just needed a bit of time to. I'm sure the Man City fans are over the moon with him from the start, but I think the press are going to be quick to come in and attack somebody. They attacked Wenger, didn't they, when he first came in? I remember people saying, who's this foreign manager? Never heard of him. I don't know where he's come from. He come from Japan, And I think until he proved what he could do, then the press are going to sort of beat you up for it. But Mourinho has just lost it.
he's lost it with me. It does seem like he's past his peak now. Definitely.
Do you think something happened in Madrid? It seemed to me Madrid was the turning point for him. I think that's the first time he'd been at a club and he wasn't loved by the fans, and the media weren't just up his arse all the time.
Well, that's Madrid for you, though. Anyway.
Yeah,
it is, but I think that changed
quickly.
him. I think that's the first time he'd experienced
do you think
that.
that might be down to the fact that Madrid have got a set way of they want to play, which is quite attacking and exciting, and the clubs before that, Chelsea obviously came in, he's very defensive based. There was some good attacking play in there as well, but maybe that was the first time he had fans on his back where he thought he was achieving, but he wasn't, in their eyes achieving. Possibly that knocked his confidence a little bit.
And I think the media as well, like, we were so up his arse in his first spell at Chelsea. Like, everyone loved him. Like you said, he was
I loved him. Yeah.
And he was entertaining in his interviews. He was someone actually came with cocky arrogance, but he could back
making
it up.
like 3 subs by half time, stuff like that.
He was just doing different things, and he came across as like so entertaining in interviews. And I think Madrid was the first time where he wasn't just loved. And I think he's got such an ego. I think that really, really affected him.
Yeah.
It seemed as soon as he came back to England the second time, it was like an evil twin. I think something wasn't quite right. Just didn't see.
I think having Barcelona as your main rival as well. I mean, they were playing unbelievable football at that time, and he was hated there as well, wasn't he? Let's be honest. So, I think possibly you might be right. When he came back to the Premier League, he'd lost it. And football had moved on by the time he come back to the Premier League.
Yeah, but he did win the title again, didn't he? That is sometimes overlooked a bit, that he did come back and had another title win. It was, Mourinho's back.
Yeah.
But it feels like football's moved on a bit now, that a lot of the top teams are so entertaining that he feels like you said, he's been left behind a little bit. It's like he's a bit of a football dinosaur, and I think that really, really sits badly with him. Like, he can't wait to have a pop at Liverpool for not winning much, and sort of, because people always say how entertaining they are, and he really hates that. And
that's it with Klopp. Klopp is a fucking PR's wet dream, and
that's it.
Everyone's best mate, and Klopp is.
He's like what Mourinho was first time around. The media just can't get enough. I mean, they still can't get enough of Mourinho, but it's kind of for different things now.
It's because
it is. People are poking at him to get a reaction out of him, aren't they? Really.
What do you make of his 3-season syndrome?
I think there is something to it. I think he's quite an impact manager, and I think players can maybe get tired of him after a bit. And because, like you say, the football isn't that great, that maybe it does start to fade. Even the fans kind of lose patience a bit. Some of it might just be down to circumstance as well. I mean, not many managers are in a job for very long now. Anyway,
that's true.
I think it's a slight myth, but I think there is something to it as well, that his methods do become a bit tiresome, and just him as a person, he just makes everything about him. Like the Juventus win away in the Champions League like a few weeks ago, that could have been a massive turning point for the club. He came straight on, it's like it all became about him. It's like, well, not really, you're hindering the team if anything, but they did it despite you. They did it despite your tactics.
That's what annoys me most about Mourinho, is how much he complains about other managers and people over-celebrating things happening against Chelsea recently. And there was that game that when they played Chelsea, and is it Conte, and he went up to him, didn't he? He whispered and someone read it, and he said something like, "Don't celebrate when you 4-1 up," or whatever.
Yeah, you disrespect
him.
But
then let's not forget his Porto sliding on his knees. Let's not forget when he ran on Barcelona and celebrated. He has built his career upon being very much like a Brian Clough controversial character. You can't complain when someone else does exactly the same thing.
I mean, he was dead good when he was at Chelsea of doing that us against the world kind of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's why I think he could still get a job like that, where it feels like you can't really do that at Man United. You can't really say, we're the underdog. Like, Mourinho's always been better as an underdog. Some of his best ever performances or his best ever results have been when he's been playing against supposedly the best team in the world, and he's managed to, the Mourinho master plan, grind out a 1-0 win. You can't really do that at United because they're expected to win all the time. I think he is better at a team that because even when he first took over Chelsea hadn't won anything for ages. It's not like they were a superpower. And I think it suited Chelsea. He suited Chelsea because he could have that. It's us against the world, we're fighting the powers. Well, now, at Madrid and now at Man United, he's at the power. These are the power clubs.
Exactly.
And I just don't think it suits him at all.
So, we reckon, if Pep Guardiola left Man City, he could go to pretty much any club he wanted to go to. That's how high his stock is.
Everyone would want to.
If Mourinho left United, where do you reckon he'd go next?
China. I think he'd go somewhere.
Inter Milan would have him back. He's loved it. Inter Milan.
PSG?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think either of those. I think Inter Milan would have him back because they're in Juventus' shadow as well. They're kind of fighting. I don't think any of the clubs that are actually dominating would take him because it's just, in style, it's a step down. And it used to be that he'd guarantee you results, but he doesn't even guarantee you that now.
What about the national team?
I think he will manage Portugal at some point.
I don't know if he'd get bored of that though, because obviously you have how many games per year?
6 games or
something.
Well,
including friendlies, probably like 10 to 12 games.
It's hard to tell whether
he's... But now with the Nations League or whatever it's come in, it kind of makes it more entertaining, doesn't it?
I suppose he'd have more competitive games. It just depends on the manager if they like that sort of thing. Like, I don't think Pep would suit international management as much because he's just so day to day drilling his style. He's got such a style that he wants to implement constantly. I don't think he'd suit international football as well. Mourinho always used to be quite a good man manager, it seemed. He'd get like that trench mentality, like you say, it was against the world. He seemed to get like he did improve a lot of the players at Chelsea, whereas now it seems to be having the opposite effect. So I don't know if it'd even suit international football particularly. Like I said, I think if he's going to do well somewhere again, it will be at a sleeping giant that comes into money and he can try and progress them. Other than that, I can't see him being at a top club again.
No, I can't. I think his time's gone.
Sullied his name a little bit, I think, this Man United spell. I think a lot of the press seem to be, they've turned against him. I think a lot, even the Man United fans, the 0-0 draw against Palace, they were booed off. And he didn't even look sheepish about it. He seemed to almost be like, why are we being booed? I know he came afterwards and said, we weren't. He was blaming the players again.
Well, that's all he does now is blame the players. It's the players' heart, and I think this is that to me just sounds like a guy in the pub having a bit of a chat. When they say England players don't care enough, they've got no heart and all that, and it's just nonsense.
Well, the fact that his interview fairly recently when he came out, it's like, you should show me some respect. I've won 3 titles. I'm like, he won 3 titles 10 years ago.
That's the thing. He's living in the past. Isn't it? He was getting respect then, and now he's not because he's destroying a big team.
Exactly. I do hate the way that he comes out and slags the player. I mean, who would want to sign for Man United now? Realistic? Can you've got, like you say, Martial for me would be one of the best players in the world at any other club but Man United, and he's wasted.
Well, same with Rashford. Rashford's like incredibly good. Do you think his progression's hindered by Mourinho?
Yeah, I do think Rashford might be. I think we rate Rashford so highly because he's English. We often do that with young English players. I think he's a promising player, and I think he'd be playing loads better under Pep, more and more progressive manager. But he has got a history with young players, hasn't he, Mourinho? He has got a history of like Lukaku and De Bruyne and Salah kind of dismissing young players far too early. It will happen again with Martial.
I can't remember him bringing really through any young players.
He brought through a few, but I don't think...
Chelsea did
I think he improved players at Chelsea, and players that weren't quite seen as top quality, he took them to that level, but not necessarily from a very young
Lampard
age.
And Terry, when he took over there, they must have been 23, 24.
Yeah, that's it.
They're not 18, 19. Like...
No, I think Varane at Madrid, I think he did. I think he brought him in, but I think Varane was that good, it would have happened regardless.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there's any young player he's really taken on to the next level, not off the top of my head anyway.
So do you think Mourinho realistically took over Liverpool or Chelsea right now in place of Sarri or Klopp? He would do a job with them or not?
I mean, he'd do a job. I don't think he'd improve any of the big teams at the moment. I think if you listed the 20 top teams in world football, I think if you put Mourinho in charge of any of them, he'd make them worse.
Yeah.
Now, I think because most of them play on the front foot attacking football as well, I think he might grind out some results, but I don't think the fans would like it. I don't think the players would like it. I think that's what he says about players lacking heart and not working hard for him. It's easy to work hard for Pep Guardiola because the payoff is you're going to play some of the best football you've ever played in your career, and you're going to play in one of the best teams you'll ever play in.
Yeah.
Working hard for Mourinho is different. It's like
grinding,
track back, and after a while, it's like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, what's the positive?
It's I saw like the highlights last night and the long balls up to Fellaini.
That really bothers me. I'm sure
first kind of like get out of jail card.
Well, Van Gaal did that though at some point.
And he was absolutely destroyed for it.
Yeah,
and it's as a desperation plan B. If you're going to do that, Fellaini's a good player to do that with. But come on, you're at Man United. You shouldn't be doing
Sanchez
that.
On the bench, you bring Fellaini on as your first port of call, and the balls. You've got really talented players, just 30, 40 yard balls into an area where he might be able to get his head on it.
Yeah,
I just think it's disappointing.
Yeah. I can't imagine Fergie ever doing that. Fergie would still play the right way and be clapped off because they've tried to win the game by playing football. I can't ever imagine Fergie bringing on like a Fellaini.
I think it's hard for Mourinho or any Man United manager having Fergie turning up to home games and sitting in the stands.
I think we are still in the period where Man United managers are going to be in Ferguson's shadow.
Yeah.
I think that is an issue, but we're getting to a stage now where it's been that bad for a while that it shouldn't be as big of an issue. Like, someone should be able to take over, and as long as you start playing progressive, attacking, exciting football, the fans will be like, right, here we go. It's like the buzz is back in the club. I don't even think Man United fans are necessarily wanting a period or expecting a period of domination like they had before. I think they're realistic enough, especially with this Man City team
and the Liverpool team.
Yeah, that's it.
They're just good to watch, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they'd be happy with just attacking football, finishing in the top 4 and playing exciting attacking football. I think at the moment that'd be completely fine for Man United fans.
The argument I had with someone recently was, if Mourinho was sacked or went at the end of the season, who realistically could they get in to achieve what you've just said? Because Zidane's name's always mentioned. Would he really want to go there? I don't think he would want to go there.
Well, I don't even know how good Zidane is.
Yeah.
He wasn't very good in the league.
Yeah.
They did win 3 Champions Leagues in a row, which is incredible, but his league form wasn't very good, and they did have fucking amazing players. I think Pochettino would be the one if I was hiring for Man United.
He's got to be on Barcelona's radar at some point.
He won't go to Barca, he's already said it, because he was Espanyol manager.
It'll be Madrid.
It'll be Madrid or Man United, I think, will be Pochettino's next job.
I think Pochettino's more likely to go to Madrid than Man United, though. I think he seems quite passionate for Tottenham, and I think to go from Tottenham to Man United, when they are below Tottenham at the moment, would be a bit of a poor move for him.
But there is a ceiling at Tottenham, isn't there? That's the thing. It's like
it's the spending.
Their wage budget, I think, it's less than half of Man United's. So you think there's only so much you can do with Tottenham. Personally, I don't think he can do much more than he has with Tottenham. I think it's incredible what he's done. I don't think it's a failure. Like, with people say, he needs a trophy. He doesn't. I think trophies are overrated anyway in terms of like domestic cups. Like, Wenger was criticised for like 10 years without a trophy. Then he won 3 FA Cups in 5 years.
Yeah,
didn't help him at all. He was still like pretty much laughed out the club.
Everything's based upon Premier League these days. I think.
It is really, and people say, need a trophy. If they won the League Cup this season, that'd be forgotten about in a few months. No one would even care.
Yeah.
I think Pochettino, for me, because he plays exciting attacking football, he's improved that Tottenham team incredibly.
Yeah.
This is the best Tottenham team we've seen, isn't it? Since we've been watching football by a long way.
And they've not made really any signings this summer, and they're still there or thereabouts. I mean, they're not going to win the title, but they are still getting. Their performance against Chelsea was brilliant. I mean, Chelsea were poor, but they were still. Brilliant.
But I think they were made to look poor to play with Tottenham, and they've done that quite a few times. I think they're only not going to win the title because of how good Man City are. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think when Leicester won the title, I think if Tottenham were as good then as they are now. I think if they were in that state, they were just a bit too early in their progression.
Yeah.
They would easily win the title that season, playing as well as they are now. I think it's only because Man City are playing that well that no one else has really got much of a shout. I think in another season, this Tottenham team would have a chance of winning the Premier League. So I think Pochettino would be the one for me. I think he'd be able to improve those players quite quickly.
I can't really think of
anybody else
that would play expansive attacking football in the same way as Pochettino does.
Thomas Tuchel's good, I think, at PSG, and I don't think that's the right team for him because they've got a lot of big superstars, and I don't think they work in quite the way that he would want them to. I think maybe he might get a bit bored of that, and Man United could get him.
I think Mourinho could turn it around at Man United, and they could become.
I think he's too far gone now. I think it feels like it's all clutching at straws now. I think end of the season, I think that's got to be enough.
I think they'd have to have a really good Champions League run this season. They'd have to get to like a semi-final or a final for the fans to kind of have confidence in him. Even then, he'd only do it by grinding, I think. Yeah. Even then, I think most fans would think, like, I just want to change, I want something. Yeah. They've had Moyes, they've had Van Gaal, they've had Mourinho. They just want something exciting now, I think, don't they? And I think that's fair enough as well.
On the flip side, how long is Guardiola going to realistically stay at Man City? He's obviously not going to get sacked. But there's going to be a point, I think, in his career where he's going to go, right, I want a new challenge.
He's got to win like Champions League in at least the next couple of seasons, I think.
I think regardless, I don't think he'll be there in 3 years' time. I think whether he wins the Champions League or
not. And where would he go next?
He's not been in Italy, has he? Maybe go to Juventus or somebody like that. Yeah, I can't see him.
That would open up that argument that everybody seems to have about him, where it's, he never goes to the best clubs.
Well, that's because he's the best manager.
He's
not going to go to Derby, is he? That's like if you're like the best player. You'd never say that about.
I'd quite like a manager like that to go and do like Benitez went down like a level, didn't he? And he's done fairly well. I mean, he's at a shit club to be fair, who are fucking him about quite a lot. But it'd be nice to see someone like like a Mourinho or a Pep like drop down and go, actually I can prove now I'm the best manager.
Just take over as San Marino.
Yeah.
They should do it at the start of the season, just one off season where you pick out of a hat to see what club you go to. I'd absolutely love it, like Dyche at Man City.
Yeah,
just see like where they'd finish. It'd be fucking hilarious. I'd love it.
Yeah,
and then just like after the end of the season, right back to normal. As you were.
Yeah. No, I think to kind of sum it up though, I think you agree that Guardiola would win the title off Man City, win the title with Man United. You think, as
or
well?
at least be better.
I think they'd have a push at the title as long as he was given long enough. Like I wouldn't say if they just took over at the start of this season.
No,
took
over now, had the rest of this season, and then next season. How do you think they'd do?
Yeah, I think he'd have a very good chance.
I think Man City would do worse under Mourinho.
Yeah,
I think even though they've probably got a better squad,
they've got the best squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think they'd be struggling to get top four. I think probably fourth, maybe.
I think they'd get in the top four just because Mourinho did with Man United last season, and the Man City squad's a lot better. I mean, I think you'd have to be a fucking horrific manager to not get Man City to finish in the top four.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'd win the title.
I'm just not sure Guardiola taking over Man United whether he'd do it within a season with a head start. I'm not sure they've quite got the quality that he would be looking for in a team. You'd have to get rid of quite a few players and bring in a few players, I think.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of quality there. I think that he bases it around sort of midfield and attack. That's his big thing. And I think there's plenty there in Pogba, Mata, Sanchez, Martial, Rashford, Lukaku. That's plenty.
Yeah,
I think.
Matic.
Yeah, possibly then. It would be interesting.
Yeah. All right, I think that's it. All right, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.